What is up, guys, and welcome back to a brand new video. Wow, I am unpracticed on this whole post-commentary thing. I've been on the live commentary game lately, but welcome to the finale of this F1 22 Career Mode Series, season number 2 for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. I mean, can we just give me just a round of applause for the sheer rapidness of uploads? I mean, it's basically yesterday that the last episode was out. Am I right? No, everyone hates me now. I apologize, but we are back for another episode of this series. If you are new to the series or have quite frankly forgotten, Fernando Alonso leads this World Drivers' Championship heading into this last race by 13 points. So essentially, heading into this finale, if he finishes on the podium, it doesn't matter where Max Verstappen ends up in this race, he will win the title. And wouldn't that be a thing to see Alonso, McLaren reunited and winning championships? That I'm not sure I'm ready, but it could well be a possibility. 13 points in it. We're currently in a fight with Sergio Perez to try and get third in the driver's standings. In the constructors, not really worth talking about, to be honest. We're solidly locked in P5 with Marduk Motorsport. Can't really move forward, can't really move backwards either. So it's full send for this final race. Unfortunately, we are limited on upgrades we can do. We don't have Spec 3 upgrades. We did do a risky Spec 3 upgrade for the aero, but that's coming in shortly, but unable to do anything in time for this race. The reason why I went for that Spec 3 upgrade on the aero is so I can kickstart upgrades before next season starts, because I don't want to start on the back foot. But we're spending resource points where we can. Once that Spec 3 upgrade does come in, yeah, we'll do something to the aero. Just you wait. But yeah, in the meantime, we've got a lot of points and not many things to spend them on. So we're going to go down the route of durability. It has been a bit of our Achilles heel. You can see how much worse off we are compared to the rest of the entire field. It's caught us out many times. We've had at least 3 or 4 DNFs this season, at least on my side of the garage. Mark Webber's got even more. So yeah, you bet that's going to be something we shore up between now and then. But I don't know, you can upgrade the durability all you like. That just stops wear. I don't know if that necessarily stops random failures from happening. Let's just hope that can be a thing of the past, because in Season 3, we can ill afford to have things like that holding us back. But yeah, heading into this last race, I'm opting to do one of the F1 Life Supercar Challenges. You can see I almost bottle it right from the outset. The reason why I'm doing this is because I need the money. It's touch and go as to whether we can afford Mark Webber as our second driver for next season. Unfortunately, we have to pay for Webber before we get the end of season budget. So we're cutting it a bit fine, but we just want to leave no stone unturned and just make sure we have enough to give him some kind of an offer. I'm not too sure we can get Piastri. I think he might be a little bit more expensive. So it looks like it might be Mark Webber or bust. Hence why we are busting our butt here, trying to overtake a McLaren Artura in a McLaren Artura ourselves at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. We're getting in some early practice, aren't we? But anyway, third race of 3, and we get the dub. Lovely stuff. All that road car driving IRL is definitely coming in clutch there. The realism is, well, it's unmatched, really. It's better than real life, it has to be said. Anyway, we head to the Grand Prix weekend itself with the F1 Circus. There's the current upgrades we've got on, or had on, in progress, I suppose. They're not going to go on in time for this race. But, yeah, no real developments from anyone, apart from Ferrari. Ferrari make ever so slight gains on Red Bull, Mercedes, and McLaren. McLaren having such a stranglehold on this season in terms of development. They've really come good at the right end of the season. And I've got to say, barring a tragedy for Fernando Alonso, I think this is his championship. Max is going to go full send. It's going to be exciting to watch it all unfold. Let's get into it. All right, here we are for qualifying for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. We ran through all the practice programs and we got the full collection of resource points that we needed. That'll be handy to set us up for next season. Anyway, before qualifying starts, if you guys are excited for this series, make sure you smash the like button and subscribe. Your support means we can get these episodes out a little bit quicker, which I'll try and do to the best of my ability. I'm going to start moving the F1 Manager stuff gradually over to my second channel. Link to that in the description. If you guys still want to watch the F1 Manager stuff, it's not going anywhere for this season, but I think maybe from next season we'll make the transition over. So make sure you subscribe to that on my other channel. Anyway, time for some actual running around the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Don't ask me why, but ever since the update to this circuit with all the changes they've made, I've not been anywhere near as competitive or as fast around here than what I used to. I don't know if it's like old muscle memory kind of holding me back. If this was a brand new circuit, I reckon I would have learned it faster. But I think because it's the same circuit with slight variations to many corners, the muscle memory is just kind of throwing me off. I go deep at the last corner quite a bit. That long sweeping left-hander before the hotel section, very, very easy to lose the back end on this year. And I feel like those kind of corners are very, very challenging with this year's handling model. But that coupled with some of the curbs this year, oh my goodness, they are absolutely treacherous and can absolutely catch you out. They can spin you into a barrier at a moment's notice. Anyway, with there's our first evidence of that with our third push lap. Normally, it's a second push lap spin, but at least we've delayed that by 1 lap. But unfortunately, unable to do anything about pace. P21 at the moment, 1.4 seconds off. Mark Webber's right up there, it has to be said. But we're just not doing a good enough job. So we're going to go out there again on another set of soft compound tires. I feel like the car isn't rotating enough. There's not enough front grip. It's quite understeery. I'm not hitting apexes. That first lap that we did, the first lap was atrocious. So we're making some changes, taking out some rear pressure to hopefully mean the rears are a little bit cooler and a little bit more compliant. So let's see what we can do. I think we've increased the front wing by a couple of clicks as well. Heading into this corner, this is again a new corner. Not exactly hitting the apex nicely there, but as long as you get a great exit, I suppose that's all that matters, and it seems like we've done just that. 3/10 up as we approach the middle sector now. Oscar Piastri in front of us, Nicholas Latifi behind us. It is a Williams sandwich heading into this little left-right chicane. And again, this corner is a bit of my Achilles heel. I never feel like I get that corner right for whatever reason. But the tricky thing with this circuit, with Abu Dhabi, is I feel like they got rid of all the corners I was good at, and they've kept the ones that I'm bad at and introduced even more ones that I'm bad at. So I don't know. It's a tricky one. P21 at the moment. Let's see if we can improve. We're up by 9/10. So that's a pretty great sector split. It has to be said. 1.5 seconds up. And I'm starting to question whether that's a delta glitch. Approaching the last 2 corners. Carlos Sainz, 121.5. Goes into P1 at this stage. Through the last corner. Good exit for us. Oh, bit of wheel spin on the curb. And that puts us in P20. Wow. P20. And Mark Webber's P4. Is that guy serious? P4 in this car. We're actually a long way off the front runners in this car now. If you saw on the performance index, we're a good 100 performance points behind them. And Mark Webber is contending like he's in a front-running car, like he's in the best car, pretty much. That is an incredible effort from my teammate. And he's done that at the perfect time because contract negotiations are up at the end of this race, and Mark Webber is doing everything required to secure a contract for next season. But yeah, no excuses for us. I felt like that last lap was really good. You saw the entirety of it. Maybe could have improved by another couple of tenths, but not by the margin required to be up there with our teammate. That was just absolutely silly. I think it was a second ahead of me. But yeah, there you go. There's the car. 4th worst car. A long way off McLaren. And Webber, it's like he's driving a different car to me. Which I'll touch upon later. I'm kind of not joking about that. Let's go to the race.
It's time then for one final race in this year's Formula One World Championship. 2010 saw 4 drivers in contention for the title coming into this race, with Sebastian Vettel prevailing to become the youngest world champion to date. Is the one last sting in the tail awaiting us today? It's time to find out in the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. An immense lap from Fernando Alonso yesterday puts him on pole position. A very happy Carlos Sainz will start second. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Perez, Magnussen, Esteban Ocon, and Verstappen. Norris, Mick Schumacher, Russell, they've taken a grid penalty, and Robert Schwartzman. Leclerc, Hamilton, Mark Webber, and Tsunoda. Joe, Benjamin, Oscar Piastri, and Pierre Gasly. They'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. Ricciardo, Albon, Latifi, they've taken a grid penalty. And Lance Stroll brings the grid to a close. And so, for one final time this season, Anthony Davidson joins me in the commentary box.
It's been another great year of racing, but let's not look back just yet. We've still got one more Grand Prix ahead of us. Some of these drivers don't know if they'll be in the sport next year or how competitive their car might be even if they are. So this is a race where every driver should be striving to make the most of it.
So oddly, a lot of penalties up and down the grid, but we only start in P16. A bit unlucky there on our front. Fernando Alonso starting from P2 on the grid. Max Verstappen P6. So already Alonso has the ascendancy as we start this race. Verstappen is going to have to pull some kind of miracle out of his bottom to get up there in this race, to win this championship, to defend his title from 2021. For some reason, again, Parc Fermé is off. The stewards are not looking, and given the poor performance of our car, I'm making the most of it. I'm changing the anti-roll bar, and I'm changing the suspension to get a little bit more rotation out of the car. It'll make it a little bit more deadly, and I think we'll have to adjust the wing level to reflect that just to survive, and we should be good to go. But yeah, after being away from my team for a couple of weeks now, really getting honed in with the upgraded F122 cars. I've been driving the McLaren a lot in co-op, as you guys have seen. And even though the McLaren is not as developed as this car, it feels way nicer than this one. This car feels really heavy, really understeery. It's I feel like I can't do the same things that the AI can do in our car. And we know, scientifically, that the AI artificially have cars that weigh less and a little bit more power, whatever it might be. It seems to be a bit of an issue, which makes the enjoyment of driving this car not very fun. I didn't notice it so much when I was driving it so frequently before, and not really so much with co-op, but now that I've done co-op for a lot for the last few weeks and jumped back into this car, I've gone, wow, this car is a bit of a dog. Whoa, you can see the Williams spun out of nowhere. I lost my words there. I was speechless. Nicholas Latifi, in what might be his last race in this sport, is starting this race sideways, and that's got the AOK from the stewards. Away we go for the last race of this F122 season, and I've been so put off by that. I was looking behind me to see how Latifi would get away, but we lost 4 places off the start. What a clown show we have here. Anyway, through turn 2, we try to get around the outside of our fellow countryman, Daniel Ricciardo, who we know for certain is his last race today. We got the inside of our former teammate, Piastri, who gives us the cold shoulder, completely squeezing us, even off the track. I had to cut the track to not have a crash there. Piastri, not happy with us. And, well, he's doing himself no favors to get a contract with me. As we have a little look up the inside into this left-hander, I think that's Albon looking up the inside of me, as I was going a little bit slowly, trying not to run into the back of Gasly. But still side by side with another Australian, trying to get the side toe here, as we squeeze him right up to the white line. He does get ahead for now. No damage done for us, thankfully, up the inside of Oscar with a damaged front wing. And that is easy GG's. P17 in this race once more. Let's see if we can run with these guys, move our way through up the order. Gasly nearly got drilled by me there. A little bit too deep into that corner. One thing this car is good at is braking. This car has much smaller stopping zones compared to the co-op car, which doesn't have any brake upgrades, so very easty to lock up the fronts as we see my teammate into the pit lane with what I can only assume is some front wing damage. Gasly getting caught up the back of Guan Yu Zhou, and Tsunoda, we go round the outside into turn 1, and we do not complete the move. We'll have to slot in behind for now, maybe go for a dive bomb into the hairpin left in sector 2, and there's confirmation. Webber pretty much out of the running of this race, at least in terms of the win, unless there's a safety car. Schwartzman in as well, in the other McLaren, and yeah, those guys are having a good day, it seems. But yeah, away we go. The green flag running once more. You can see the lead that Fernando Alonso has already. The only man who could really stop him is his teammate Schwartzman in equal machinery, and he's pretty much in last. Verstappen caught up behind the Mercedes, some Alpines, and it's going to be awfully tricky for him to make his way through because those Alpines are very, very fast in this season of career mode. They could be a dark horse for the championship next season if they continue their development. You can see the AlphaTauris going hammer and tong into the left-hander. They get caught up behind Guan Yu Zhou, and that's going to give us a bit of momentum push here to go up the inside. But I'm not going to chance it just yet. We'll wait for a better opportunity, I imagine. Try and look after the tyres. You can see I'm using higher gears, 5th gear. I do like higher gears on this game compared to some people. And yeah, maybe that's something I need to look at in terms of improving pace. But I just feel comfortable short shifting. I don't know about you guys in the comments. You'll have to let me know. It really depends on personal preference, driving style, even the equipment you use. I think if you're using a controller, you probably get away with lower gears. But with that, you know, traction control built in. We won't talk about that. But yeah, that's the way we go. And I am struggling a little bit for traction out of some corners. That corner being one of them. You can see even a little snap there as we try and go to full power with some overtake. DRS enabled as we try and go up the inside of Gasly, who closes the door right at the last second. We had to lift off to avoid contact and an aeroplane crash on the back straight. We get up the inside anyway. We force our hands, and Gasly leaves the space eventually. But that was very scary for a split second. We see on the replay, and he gets a nice little squeeze on exit for his trouble. Thank you very much. Position is mine, which is P13. Guan Yu Zhou up next, who we have been following through in this race. Let's hope we've got the pace to run with him. That's a personal best for us with a 1 minute 25.8. The AlphaTauris are running with us. Tsunoda getting dropped ever so slightly. Now it's 2.5 seconds, so Tsunoda not really having the same pace as us. We're fighting, and I truly mean this in every sense of the word, fighting to get back in the DRS of Zhou Guan Yu. Actually, we've done it. You can see the DRS is open, but we only marginally did it. Gasly is all over me on this back straight, this back sector of the lap. So you can see from the helicopter shot, he is closer to me than I am to the Alfa Romeo, and this is not hurting up. Well, it's not helping our progress as he's attacking us into the left-hander. Unable to really get on with the lap, get on with trying to catch up to the Alfa Romeo. It's, yeah, just kind of delaying things, and I'm having to keep one eye behind instead of 2 eyes forward. But, yeah, we're barely hanging on to Zhou Guan Yu's pace here. He's very, very quick, it must be said. Maybe we're just a little bit slow in this race. Normally, we are more competitive in race scenarios than we are in qualifying, and we certainly are showing that right now, but I don't know. I'm not sure if we've got the pace for top 10 points at this stage. It's a little bit dire, it must be said. We're flatlining in terms of pace in this race, and now Gasly gets up the inside into the left-hander. I don't really want to fight this. I want to run the most efficient race I can, and I want to get ahead of Zhou Guan Yu, because once I do, I feel like the pace could be a little bit better, but it's tricky. It is really tricky. My teammate is in again for his second stop of this race. I don't know why he went on the softs from a lap 1 incident, but now he goes to hards, and he will be going to the end. Should have chanced hards from lap 1, if I'm honest, but each to their own. Webber, yeah, pretty much last in this race. It's not what he deserves in this season of career mode. He's been very unlucky. He's not really been able to get through the traffic whenever he's had a grid penalty, or he's had bad luck. He's had failures of some sorts, and I don't know. he's had the pace and he's showed many glimpses of that. He just hasn't been able to get those big points that he really deserves. So hopefully next season, if we can afford him, if he's willing to maybe take a pay cut, we can do big things next season. Alonso getting ready to come into the pit lane, I imagine, very soon. We saw Lando Norris in just gone by, and that is Max Verstappen freshly out of the pit lane on hard compound tyres, making a bit of a mistake there, running wide at turn 2, and that gives me a little bit of breathing room as we head down this first of 2 back straights. Now, I'm going for a slightly different strategy compared to the AI. As you can see, I'm running very long on my mediums. They're all playing it safe, going medium hards. I've got nothing to lose in this race. I'm already penciled in at P4 in the driver's standings, and my pace is horrendous. So if I conform to the norm of medium hard, I don't think I'm going to get points, or I'd really have to push quite hard to get points. This way, if we go medium soft, there's a chance that I could chase them down at the end with incredible pace, but we're going to need also a safety car on top of that. So we're playing for the safety car strat. The pace is absolutely nowhere. We're fighting the likes of Guan Yu Zhou and Pierre Gasly, and if you look on the mini-map, when it comes up in a second, you'll see that they are a long way off the points runners. So we're doing this for the memes, for the bants. Fastest up attempt as well, hoping for a safety car, and well, this kind of puts us in the pack with faster cars, as you're seeing right now. We're getting DRS off of Magnussen, albeit for maybe 1 or 2 straights, but it gives us more of a fighting chance to do something in this race. I don't want to be a bot in this race and just be locked in a stranglehold. I want to do something different, and that's what I like to pride myself on in these career modes, being a bit of a, what am I looking for here? Being a, why am I saying this? I'm being a unicorn. Has that ever been used in Formula One terminology? I don't think so, but we are the unicorn of this race. We might be the clown of this race because we're getting overtaken left, right, and center. Ferrari, McLaren, Mercedes, Alpine, they are all so much quicker than us at this stage. We just have to do something different, and that's what I'm opting to do. DRS is open. I think we're going to box very, very soon. Softs should just about be able to make it to the end from here on this lap, so I think we are going to box and go full send. Lewis looking up the inside, heading into this left-hander. These mediums are just dying in this race. They've got nothing left to offer, and to be honest, on new tyres, they didn't have much to offer either. That was atrocious grip and purchase heading into the pit lane. I took it quite easily there, but we just went straight on and we just didn't turn either. It was absolutely disgusting. So, wow, look at the tyre tread of those outgoing mediums. I'm looking forward to more of that on the last couple of laps of this race, with the softs are going to die off even quicker. But out we go onto the pit lane once more. We are just about going to emerge ahead of this back market train, including Stroll, Ricciardo, Webber. I think one of the Alpines who's having a horrendous race. Yeah, it's not a good day. We've lost 11 seconds to the likes of Guan Yu Zhou and Pierre Gasly. But, yeah, it might have been the wrong strategy choice. But they're not getting points either. So it was worth the risk as we fight up the inside of Lance Stroll, really cutting the margins fine there with contact grazing his side pod. We check with the engineer to make sure the front wing is okay. And thankfully it is, as we press on with our fastest lap attempt. You can see the fuel is in the mud a little bit. We have underfueled, but this car is pretty good at recovering fuel with the fuel consumption upgrades we've done out of the last corner up to the line, and it is purple, 123.888. And unfortunately, yeah, we're not going to get the bonus point, but it is nice to just showcase a bit of pace for the rest of the field. And if it wasn't already academic, we are out of the points in this race with that 3-second penalty. Just pushing on, just trying to do something in this race to try and close the gap to the likes of Pierre Gasly, Guan Yu Zhou, losing the back end out of the last corner. This car, I think it's become quite evident that we just don't have the pace this weekend. Lapse of judgment with setup definitely could improve my driving style. There's definitely things I could have done better to make the most out of this weekend, but I just think we've rolled off the truck Friday morning and the car's just not been in the right window. So we've certainly been caught out with it. A little bit rusty. I'm not making any excuses, and I certainly don't have any excuses for that. As, that's just curb usage. That is F1 22 for you, as you see on the replay here, coming out of the last corner. We've been using this curb all race long, and then randomly it just chucks us in a barrier, which the game has been threatening to do. We've had a couple of little moments where we've had a bit of wheel spin, but that was the most sudden snap of the entire weekend, and thankfully it doesn't have any devastating consequences. We hit it with the rear end, and thankfully no rear wing damage, no floor damage either. That's a very, very lucky escape on simulation damage. But we're going to press on with this race. Yellow flag in the middle sector. That is Oscar Piastri out of this race. It is an absolutely diabolical race for the Australians today. Mark Webber on a 2-stop. Ricciardo's retirement race. He's well outside the points. Then there's me and Oscar in Nowhereville. So there you have it. Abu Dhabi, not friendly to the Aussies today, but let's see what Webber can do in these closing stages of this race. My tyre wear has meant that we're not really in a position where we can pull away from this pack now. It would have been fine if we had the margin before the spin, but now we have no margin, we have no tyres, we have no fans, we have nothing. Alonso has everything though, as he reunites with McLaren to win a driver's title. The Constructors is theirs as well. Alonso is back in Formula One. Robert Schwartzman coming out of the woodwork here, almost a lap down to overtake us for P14 on this last lap of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Unfortunately, it's not a grandstand finish fighting for the title finale for us, but that is going to be the aim next season. This car has just not been quite on it this season. It's been uncompetitive, it's been unreliable, and we are going to sort that out. But for now, let's have some fun on this last lap as we go round the outside of Schwartzman. We're going to see if we can re-overtake him and reclaim some pride in this race once more. Up the inside of the McLaren, which is head and shoulders the best car in the field. Just about managing to fight ahead of those guys. Webber looking for an opportunity as well. 2 more corners left in this championship, and it is going to be P4 in the drivers, P5 in the constructors as well. But a pretty nothing race from us.
Okay, pick up rubber and bring it home.
What a shame, really, because we've shown good form this season. Congrats to Alonso. He is your champion.
It's certainly been an incredible year for Formula One, and our drivers have pushed themselves this season to be one of the most compelling years of racing in history. There can only be one champion, however, and here they are now, our new Formula One World Drivers' Champion. They've done it then. Victory in the last race of the season and the championship as well. What a phenomenal end to a terrific Formula One season. Talk to me, Ant. What was it that set them apart from the competition today?
Well, this was a real team victory. They put together a solid strategy today that appeared well suited to the conditions out on track. The driver did everything that was expected of them in the moment to really execute the team's plan to perfection. A shining example of how F1 really is a team sport.
As the winners make their way up to the podium, one can only imagine the celebrations that will take place at McLaren tonight. Congratulations to everyone on the team, securing the win and proving they're a force to be reckoned with on the track.
Congrats to Alonso. He has been the most consistent man of this season. I mean, consistency hasn't really been the key for anyone. Verstappen dominated the early races, then Alonso went on a bit of a 4-race winning streak, and then we had a winning streak of our own before we started DNFing left, right, and center. And in those DNFs, it was Alonso who emerged victorious in some of those races and really secured that championship position that he finds himself in at the moment. So McLaren are your drivers and your constructors champions for this season. Poor showing from his teammate Robert Schwartzman. Max Verstappen, P4. just didn't have the pace of the McLaren, and pace for us as well. Big question mark. Even though we did get the fastest lap, it just wasn't there. Qualifying, race, consistency, just one of the worst weekends, probably the worst weekend of the season. So we'll bounce back. It's an off weekend for us. We head into season 3, 2024, with a fresh outlook. No regulation change as far as I'm aware, but we are going to work pretty hard on the car over winter, shore up the reliability of this car, and, well, do some business deals in the background, hopefully secure Mark Webber as our teammate. He's been very strong with a little bit more seat time. Who knows, maybe he can step it up to a new level of consistency. There's no questioning his pace, but that consistency, we could sure do with as we head into next season, where we're looking to be even more competitive. I want to win the championship next season. I don't know if that's realistic or not. We certainly are a long way off the marks. What we need right now is money to upgrade the facilities, and that's what we're going to do. P5 in the constructors, P4 in the drivers. Not a bad showing given the car that we had. We went on a winning streak midway through the season, and then we ran out of upgrades. That's the simple truth. And the DNFs, well, they only hid the poor form we had. So yeah, that is a season of career mode. Apologies about the results, but we will fight back very strongly in the next one. Thank you guys so much for your patience, and we'll be back bigger, better, stronger than ever in season 3 of my team career mode. Let's hope for competitiveness.